Man, real quick, I'll just add it sucks that you're in my family, Ryan, and you like Texas and the Cowboys. You're a piece of shit. But
Hey, I
I'll
was
take the
raised right.
Cowboys.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to tell you?
Well,
Cowboys. I'll take the boys. No, seriously. I love
got the
y'all at
Cowboys
home,
too.
smoking them. Wow.
All right. Welcome, sports fans, to another episode of the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition, your favorite sports podcast out there. I'm your host, Rowdy, joined by always my co-host, Big Boy and Coop. We hope you all enjoyed last week's episode, and make sure you tune in to Tuesdays on the Edge if you missed that. But how are we doing, boys?
Good
Pretty
week
good,
so
man.
far. Yeah. Seeing this portal talk and stuff, people are going crazy. So it's a good week.
No doubt. We got a jam-packed episode tonight with our special guest joining us in the next couple of minutes. We're pumped for that. We think y'all are going to like that one. And then following him, we're going to have our segment Roundtable Chats back this week with Coach Fowler. That's soon to come shortly. And then, of course, we're going to have all the sports talk and all the hot takes for you the rest of the episode. And Kobe's locks. And we're going to give Kobe a little bit more time this week so him and Big Boy can finish out their hash from last week if you missed that.
I'm done talking to him.
And then, of course, no college games, but we will be giving you our NFL games for this weekend as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that later in the episode. Our special guest should be joining us next couple of minutes. But other than that, guys, how are we feeling heading into the Cowboys-Eagles game? I know we're going to talk about that a little later in the show, but how are we feeling?
Confident. Dak's going to go for 370.
We're going to see if
CD's going to go for 137.
We're going to see.
tugs.
We'll see about that, Big Boy.
I know. I'm kind of scared of it, honestly.
No, we talked about it, a little bit in the past. Dak keeps playing how he is, man. That's the MVP right there. Although I need my boy CJ to start stepping it up so my bet can hit. So, but
this is that run for him. Like, we're gonna see everything, if they're real or not. I hope they are, but
for sure.
No doubt. We're going to find out. All right. Joining us now is the host of Hardge Knocks Life on AM1300 The Zone and iHeart app, is no other than Mike Hardge. How are we doing, man?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing today?
good, man.
Good.
Thank y'all
Good
for
to have
having
you
me.
on.
I'm excited to be a part of it, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We're so glad you were able to take some time from your busy schedule and come on with some of just guys like us, just enjoying. We just love talking sports, so we're glad you could come and join with us. We've been having a great guests the last couple of weeks. We always love having special guests on to come talk their side of sports as well. So obviously some big Texas fans, and we got one Cowboys fan, we got one Texans fan. So
Hey, and I'm rooting for both of them, so we're good, man.
There you go.
I'm more a Cowboys fan than anything, but we can ride with the Texans right now because I'm liking what they're doing.
for sure. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later, but real quick, we'll just get it started off. Kind of, what are your quick thoughts on, obviously, UT's football season? Conference championship just wrapped up. What are your thoughts on the season as a whole, and kind of looking forward to that semifinal matchup against Washington?
Well, as a whole, you sit here and you think about what we were expected to see at the very beginning of the season. Everybody comes into the season with high expectations, but we've all been disappointed. We've all had to deal with that pressure of the season. You wait all year and you're like, all right, what is this team going to do? And then all of a sudden we get our legs cut from underneath us and everybody's trying to fire everybody at the University of Texas. That's just part of it. But you sit here and you watch what Sark has been able to do, the team camaraderie, the conversations that they have, and everyone being able to be on the same page. And to me, it's been, I want to say it's kind of like a storybook season. And strictly, because of the adversity, the fact that we're leaving the Big 12, you're going into it. We went into the season thinking that every referee was going to be against the University of Texas. And you sit there, and through all of it, Texas gets them their way into the Big 12 championship game, win the Big 12 championship game, and then is able to get into the college football playoffs. I mean, this has been short of amazing when you sit there and think about it.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, you nailed all of it. I mean, we've talked about it, obviously, with us being fans our whole life. I mean, we've been through it. That's for sure. Especially me and Coop in our 20s. It's been a long time since we can remember of some good quality football that went a full season.
No doubt.
So
The last time the Horns won the Big 12 championship, I was 6 years old. Okay, I'm a sophomore in college now, so it's been a disappointment. But you've been around the Horns for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
With everything they've done this season, obviously Big 12 champions, number 3 in the college football playoff. Could you say Texas, quote unquote, is back?
I wouldn't say they're back into the national conversation. And it's funny that you guys have just brought that up. And especially you talking about, you were 6 years old. My son is 15 years old. And Saturday, you would have thought that they won the Super Bowl because he's never seen it. You know what I'm saying? So he was born in 2008. So for him to be around, because he couldn't understand 2009, he didn't know about Coke getting hurt.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so the whole perspective of it for a totally different group of fans to be able to watch this happen, it's been amazing. And being there for Vince Young when he won the national championship and got snubbed in the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and watching this team go from that to where it went through with the in-between part. And like I said at the very beginning, everybody getting rid of every coach that has ever been a part of this program. And we don't have our guy. We don't have our guy. And even then, when they hired Coach Sark, a lot of people didn't believe it was the hire that they should have gotten. But Sark staying with his plan, staying with his focus, being able to cultivate this program even through some dark times. Think about it, 5-7 his first year. 8-5, we get into a bowl and people were still mad at him. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe he's still here. We went 8-5. But then to be here right now, to go through every single emotion throughout these years, I mean, it's a pretty good deal. And to your point, I was here when it was rough. I was watching when it was rough. I was covering the team when Tom Herman is telling everybody you're not allowed to talk to family members and, not wanting to be a part of it. And now for Sark to embrace the fan base, number one. Number two, embrace all the players, the former players that walk and welcome them in to the locker room and be able to talk to these guys. It's been a great, great emotional ride. But most importantly, for this program to be, quote unquote, on the verge of being back, that's what it's all about right now.
No doubt. I mean, that's very rewarding at the end of the day, like you said, going through those last 10 plus years, ever since really, that 2009 game. And I mean, we've been talking about it since we started doing this all year, was kind of how Sark and Quinn, just, you could really see them this year develop game by game and really start to mesh and mature, not only as people, but obviously as a coach, for Sark, and then obviously Quinn when it comes to passing. But kind of looking around just at the rest of the college game, with the playoff rankings just coming out, obviously it's a lot of hot topics on the top 4. Did they get it right? All this kind of nonsense. So do you agree with the top 4 teams? And if not, who would you have put in there?
I agree with the top 3 for sure. The top 3 is definitely what I've been looking at. And as far as the number 4 team, look, they gave themselves an out with that clause about players, coaches, and what the availability is. But I do find it very hard to understand that a team, despite losing their quarterback, can find a way to go 13-0 and not be in the playoff. I've always been the person who has had this conversation when it first came out and they said, we're going with 4. And I'm like, how can you truly go with 4 when you're always talking about the Power 5? And then throughout that time, you're taking sometimes 2 from the same conference. So it doesn't, to me, it never, ever made sense. Now, do I think that Florida State got a raw deal? Absolutely. And the reason why I will say that is that defense has played at an elite level from day one. And everybody always wants to talk about defense wins championships. But in this particular instance, they're talking about an offensive player. I've never understood that debate, strictly because for our entire life, they've always said offense will sell tickets, but defense will win championships. And that is what the Florida State Seminoles did. They won a championship. They were flawless the entire year. Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly as hell. But you sit there and your job is to get more marks in the left column than it is in the right column. And they're unblemished in that right column.
For sure. I mean, we talked about it on our Tuesday on the Edge, our other segment we do. And we were talking about the exact same thing last night, how obviously they did have that, the committee had that term in their description, right? Player availability, which understandable, right? But it was also to the point where we mentioned last night, they do the same thing when it comes to all of like these player awards too. Like there's no reason why Jonathan Brooks should not have been at least a top 3 for the Dokic Award, right? So
100%.
It comes down to they do the same things when it comes to the player awards when guys get hurt mid-season, end of season. I mean, it's just a tough break at the end of it, but I know Coop's got one for you.
You know, we've all disagreed about it on this show. You know, who's winning the Heisman, you know, this and that. I think we all 3 have said a different answer, and I'm throwing a shot at my brother here. Bo Nix did just lose twice to Michael Penix, by the way.
Agreed.
So my thought was Michael Penix, which Texas, you know, I don't know. It scares me a little bit. But who do you think is that Heisman winner?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I do agree with you about the Michael Penix Jr. Winning against Bo Nix twice. And I thought Bo Nix's campaign was kind of over the top. I was in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl game with Texas and Oklahoma, and the place that I was at, they had a bodacious sign all over Dallas. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, how are we not promoting anybody that's close to us? Didn't happen. But then I also look at Jaden Daniels and what he was able to do for LSU. It's an interesting time because if it's for the best player, then I would give it to Marvin Harrison Jr., to be quite honest with you. So when you look at what his value was to that team, listen, we can talk about Bo Nix. He lost 2 games to Michael Penix Jr. We could talk about Jaden Daniels. He lost 3 games this year and was, you know, probably one of the best players on the field every single time that he walked onto the field. Michael Penix Jr. would be the walkaway winner because he did everything that he could with his team, and they're undefeated, and they got into the playoffs. So to me, the debate is always going to be, is it truly that award, or is it the most popular player on the team that won the most games? If that is the case, you have to give it to Michael Penix Jr.
Sure.
I like Jaden Daniels myself too, but Mike,
Yep.
I listened to you for a long time, you and Rod, man, and I know you know everybody in Austin. So what have you heard about Andrew Makuba and him coming to the 40 acres? And do you think Jamal is going to lock that up because he's with UT now?
I pretty much hope so. I mean, I have talked to a few people behind the scenes, and I know that they're working hard to it, because one of the big things that Texas is going to be looking for in the transfer portal, or even in the recruiting part of it, is to shore up that back end. You're going to be losing some guys. Obviously, Jalen Catalon and jumped into the transfer portal just the other day. And, for me, a lot of people have talked about that with me and was like, man, Jalen Catalon, I'm like, he was never really on the field when you sit back and think about it. The maturity level, I mean, more people have tried to roast Michael Taft than applaud him, because he came in, non-scholarship player, good football player, and he got more snaps at the end of the day, and he made plays at the end of the day. Yes, Jalen Catalon is a huge name, and people are going to be disappointed. But I'm looking at my boy from LBJ. I said it from the very beginning. As soon as I saw his name in the transfer portal, I even tweeted at Jamal. I'm like, bring him home, baby, because we need that help in the back end. He was a freshman All-American. We already know that being here in Austin, being around your family, gives you that extra juice. Look at what it did for Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell, he came in and did his thing. So for me, yeah, we need to go ahead and bring my man from LBJ back to the crib. And I believe that Jamal being on the 40 acres, that's a great move by Texas. And it opens up some doors for a couple players that used to be in this area that have now hit the transfer portal.
Yeah. Prince too.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. You bring up the portal, which is obviously a big thing now in college football. Are there any other targets that you've heard of for Texas to go after? And, if Quay comes back, one of them's going, right? Yep. And everyone's saying it's Malik Murphy. Although he hasn't said anything yet, nothing has been said about it. So have you heard anything about that either?
That's very interesting, because I too believe that, obviously, Arch is going to stay. Rumors, once that news came out, I was like, of course he's staying here. Where else is he going to go? Exactly. He's going to have that opportunity. But the Malik Murphy situation is very interesting to me. The reason why it's so interesting to me is because if I'm that player, and I've been saying it for every player that has jumped into the transfer portal from the University of Texas, I think there's been 4, now maybe 5, if I'm not mistaken. You got a chance to be in the playoffs now. And you got a chance to possibly play for a national championship. There's people that have played college football all of their lives and never had this opportunity. So for me, if I'm Malik, if I'm any other kid in this situation, I'm holding my water and try to wait as long as I possibly can before I have to announce that I'm jumping in the portal. Some of these other kids at these other schools, they're not playing in the playoffs. If you go back and you look at most of them, they weren't on the front line. They weren't the top 22. I am looking at Malik. I do believe that if anybody's going to jump in that portal as a quarterback, it probably will be Malik, because let's be honest. You heard the ovation about Arch Manning when he jumped into the game. Now, everybody wanted to see Malik. And remember, when Malik first came in, everybody was hyped. He had a little bit of rust, and everybody was like, oh, my God, get back Quinn. I can't wait for Quinn to get back. I'm like, man, be careful what you wish for, because you might pass out on something else. So for me, I do believe that Malik, I'm not confirming or denying that I might have heard some information, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the names to go into the transfer portal.
I'm high on him too, man. I really think, unfortunately, whoever he goes to is going to get a great quarterback. Man.
They're going to get unbelievable quarterback play.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. And not even just a quarterback play, but
great guy.
They've talked about, just a fantastic dude in the locker room. They call him the mayor in that locker room. He's just a team guy. But we talked about it too, and you kind of mentioned the point of the transfer portal guys trying to hold out and waiting, obviously get a chance to play in the national championship. But it is one of those days, like the NCAA transfer portal closes January 2nd, right? Yep. And I've seen it go around a little bit, which I don't know how true it is, but Sark has kind of mentioned, like, for dudes that are going to enter the portal, he's kind of giving them the opportunity to practice with the team and still travel with that team. I know Sword Graham Welch came out today and entered the portal, but he said he's finishing the season out. So that's a good instance there. But like you said, it's just tough, especially for like Malik in that situation. There's so many quarterbacks in the portal now already.
Man,
it's insane. We talked about it last night. I think I counted there was 96. We just talked about the top 10 last night. And with Malik waiting and out, like, those spots are going to fill up very quickly. So it's a tough situation for those dudes.
And not every single one of them are going to go into a situation where they have a chance to play in a national championship situation. Not only that, they may go to a school where they promised them something, and then they get there and they don't perform at that level, and they're already looking for the next guy. I talked about it on the show yesterday. I said, here's the biggest thing for me when you play in the quarterback position. Everybody has been a star when you play that position. No matter what level, you've been their chosen guy. And the reality of it is, when you go across the nation, everybody's that guy. So competition is going to happen no matter what. When you get there, are you going to get a fair opportunity? The main thing is, every coach is trying to keep their job nowadays. So the best way to keep your job is having a quarterback that can help you win. Kyle McCord went 11-1 and is in the portal for a Power 5 major program that now he's like, the coach didn't even tell me I was going to keep my job, so I'm about to hop up out of here. That is a 5-star quarterback that is going to play. Now, the problem for me, the biggest problem out of all of this, is those kids in high school that are also those 5 stars that thought that they were going to be a guy. And then you got a 27-year-old Tyler Shuck going to Louisville that's probably going to get a better opportunity than you would right away, because they said, I'm trying to win now, and I don't know how you're going to develop right away. So those are the kids that I truly, truly feel bad for, because everybody wants to play Power 5 D1, but everybody can't play Power 5 D1.
And a lot of them won't. And that's the thing, they get into the portal and then they don't have a scholarship anymore, and they don't get anything.
Right.
Yeah. The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Especially at the high level. They may go to a lower level and get that opportunity, and sometimes that's okay. That's okay. Put your ego to the side. Where's the best place for me to go and play? Because they have shown you they will find you in the NFL. They will come and get you and give you that opportunity.
For sure. Well, kind of staying on the Longhorns, but not so much football. Big basketball game about to start up tonight as we're recording this. This episode obviously will come out Friday, but as we're recording this, game's about to get going. Can you kind of give us your early season, very early in the season still, not everyone fully healthy, but kind of your thoughts on the team as a whole, and how far do you really expect them to make a run later on this year?
Look, I'm around basketball quite a bit. My son played college basketball at Tarleton State. They played in the national semifinals back-to-back years, Elite Eight and Final Four. A lot of D1 players were on his team. When I watch this team, the one thing that the Texas Longhorns, what I truly want to see from them is giving that ultimate effort on the defense. Going back to our point about football a little while ago, everybody wants to see offense, but at the end of the day, defense wins championships. You got to be able to stop teams from scoring. And if you can create transition buckets, that helps you. But all of those come off of your defense, whether it's a long rebound, you getting out, or just getting in the passing lanes. That is something that Rodney Terry talked about this week. That is something that he harps on as a head coach. And I believe that Texas, once they figure each other out, because right now, you know it as well as I do, in basketball, it's a little bit different than football, because of football, there's a collective group. There's a lot of guys you can put in there. When you got those 5 to 7 guys and trying to figure out who understands their role in each moment, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And the fact, add on to it, you don't have Dylan Dessou back yet. So once you get Dylan Dessou, it kind of changes the way that you're going to be able to work your offense. Caden Shedrick has played unbelievable in Dessou's absence, but what are you going to do when you have both of those guys on the floor? So that has been the biggest thing for me, and Rodney talked about it the other day. His big thing is we got to be able to be consistent and understand our roles. Once they get that figured out, they already can score the basketball, whether it's getting in the lane and working it in and out or trying to hit those three-pointers. The biggest thing for me is understanding your role. Because think about it, last year and the year before, when Shaka was here, they didn't even understand what their roles were. Now, with Rodney Terry, RT is trying to make sure that each player understands who they are and what the team expects from them. And as far as a run in the season, man, I see this team, depending on what Max Asmus is able to do, depending on if Dylan Dessou is going to be there. If Dylan Dessou and Max Asmus, they figure out their work and some of the players that they already got that are contributing right now, I see this team making at least another Sweet 16, maybe an Elite 8. But they have to understand who's their scorer, who's their paint finisher, who's their defensive stopper, and understanding each of their roles. Once that is figured out, I think we'll have a clear understanding of who this team is.
And they got a gel, man. It's all different people coming together, like they've never played with each other, you know.
Right.
All right, man. So one, how bad are my Cowboys gonna beat the Eagles this week? And how do you think they'll do on this, you know, this last 5-game stretch they have? I mean, this is, you know, why they get paid the big bucks. This is the stretch that they have to go on. It's going to be tough. What do you think, man?
Well, I'm excited for this stretch, not only, you know, for the Cowboys, but for Dak Prescott, the national media and what they have involved in it and how everybody's responding to it. I think the Cowboys, they should have beat them in Philadelphia. You know, we're a goal line pass away. You're a step out of bounds away from beating this team. And you look at what Dak was able to do. He outplayed everybody on the field that day. He did everything he needed to do. But at the end of the day, it's what's going to happen in the playoffs is the biggest story. And this run is a playoff run. You know, Sark always compared the two because they're so parallel. I mean, the fan bases, the thought process, you live and die with what's happening with them on the weekend. And I always compare these two teams. When you go through these types of stretch, this helps your legacy. But most importantly, it's what you do in the postseason. Sark got to the postseason. Dak is trying to get to the postseason and win multiple rounds. He has to be able to do that. And I think Mike McCarthy, although as of this recording, had appendicitis and ended up having to get treated for that. So we don't know what the dynamics are going to be this weekend. I know he's going to try to be out there, but we truly don't know. So both teams are going to be up against some adversity. But to your point, this is a big stretch for Dak. This is a big moment for them. And I think if he can go through this stretch run that they have and win 3, maybe 4 games, that puts him in an elite competition. Because here's the deal. I don't expect them to win every single one of these games. We'd be foolish to think that they would win every single one of them. But he has to win this one first.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. I know, you know, you were a pro baseball player and you know, you were a legend in Central Texas. But do we have any youngsters we need to be on the lookout for in baseball that you're familiar with? I know you're still around the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of them over, believe it or not, there's a lot of kids over at Westlake that have a lot of talent. Chance Covert, left-handed pitcher, he's going to end up going to the University of Texas. Lefty, the Covert family, legendary around here. Theo Gillian, shortstop, he plays on that team too. He's been a very highly touted prospect. He too is going to the University of Texas. They all signed their letter of intent not too long ago. Left-handed hitter, plays shortstop, can run, got some pop. I got a lot of buddies that are scouts, and they've been spending a lot of time at the Westlake High School,
He's a stud.
Yeah, he's got some talent around him. So it's always one of those things. There'll be some kids that'll pop up that have gone to like some JUCOs. I got Brandon Creek. His Creek.
That's my boy, yeah.
Yeah, great baseball player. Has done some good things. Now he's in college and getting stronger. And so I'm hoping that he gets an opportunity. But there's a lot of kids in this area that you're going to continue to see pop up. They start early, but now Central Texas has always been that area where it's been heavily scouted. We just need more kids out of Central Texas to get that look.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's starting. Obviously, as the past baseball player myself, played at Round Rock High School with the Jared McKenzie's and all those guys. And then funny you mentioned Creek too. I played at Grayson with Dusty Hart before he took over at Blinn with Coach Creek now. So, but with that being a baseball guy, obviously UT's baseball season coming around the corner after this break. What do you kind of think about that team with this last season going into the Big 12?
It's always interesting when we talk about Texas baseball, because every year you're looking at it and you're like, I don't know if this kid's going to be good. Where position are they going to play him at? What is Pierce doing? Why is this guy part of this team? And then all of a sudden they're playing for a Big 12 championship, and then they're one game away from winning Omaha. And you sit there and you're like, how does that happen? But I continue to look at it. The big acquisition for me was Troy Tulowitzki. Him being back on the 40 acres. Now, I know he doesn't have that on-field presence that he once did when he was sitting in the dugout. Now he's got kind of that GM type of role. But him being around these kids and being able to spend time with them is going to take them to the next level. I'm really curious to see how it's all going to work with Coach Pierce being the pitching coach. I know he's done it for a long time and in his past, but when you become the manager or the head coach, it takes away because you're trying to see so many different things. He's not going to be at third base this year. Is he going to be able to let Coach Rodriguez do his thing over there? Is he still calling it while he's trying to get the pitchers ready? There's so many different dynamics that are involved in the baseball game. But to answer your question, they brought in a lot of talent. And the biggest question for me is not necessarily about the University of Texas, but what does everybody else have in the Big 12? We saw a little bit of a lot of them fall off last year. Did they go out and get better? Did Baylor go recruit a lot better? What's happening out in West Texas with Texas Tech? You sit there, K-State, how are they going to be in this? And, of course, Oklahoma State, they always seem to find arms. So, to me, it's always about who's around you as opposed to what's going on with you, because we can look at the Texas team like we did last year and be like, how good are they really going to be? And then all of a sudden, you're looking at all these guys getting drafted. You're seeing all of them continue to get things popping. And then you're like, this team is actually pretty doggone good.
For sure. Well, one more question before we let you get out of here. First of all, people watching, make sure y'all tune in. It's Mike Hardge, host of Hardge Knocks Life on AM1300 The Zone, iHeart. It's a pleasure listening to you and all the people you got over there. So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all tune in over there. But real quick before you get out of here, obviously got 3 weeks or so, 3-4 weeks before the semifinal matchup. What are your kind of personal thoughts on how UT matches up with Washington?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is not the matchup that I wanted. I wanted Michigan. I wanted Michigan so bad. Like when we were watching the show, I kept saying, please let us be 4 or let Michigan be 2 and us be 3. I wanted Michigan so bad, strictly because of the way that they play and the way that Texas plays. The thing that bothers me the most is, obviously, we talked about it at the very beginning, Michael Penix Jr., what he's been able to do, the experience that he has, that wide receiver crew that they have. I just thought for sure, I was like, man, I was sitting here thinking about it. We already know that Texas likes to make teams one-dimensional. That means taking away the run and making them throw. Well, damn it, this quarterback can sling that thing. He got a lot of wide receivers, and that plays right into their hands for what they're trying to do. So to me, I was scared of this matchup, but the more and more I keep looking at it and I start doing my research and prepping for it, even going back to last year's game, Texas probably should have won that game. If you go back and watch it, a lot of drop passes. That's when we found out X-Man had a broken hand. He was wide open on a bunch of plays and kept dropping the football. Our secondary wasn't playing up to snuff. I think now, going back to the Jalen Catalon being gone, Michael Taft has played a lot of football. Jaron Thompson has played a lot of football. We don't get Derek Williams until the second half. Played a lot of football. So I think on the back end, we're going to be a lot better. These young corners are going to be challenged. Ryan Watts will be back. I still believe that this matchup is going to be tough, but I believe that we're going to be in Houston at NRG as Texas gets ready to play Alabama again.
Hey, and you give Sark a month to prepare. You get the real, true Big 12 Coach of the Year. Okay?
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
You give him a month to prepare. Hey, don't be worried.
Anything
It's
can
all
happen,
good.
man. That's
Let's
right.
go.
I'm excited about it.
For sure. Hopefully, like you said, meet up in NRG. Hopefully, maybe a little Bama rematch. You know, there'd be nothing better than that. So, but man, we appreciate you coming on and giving us some of your time to come and talk with us.
Anytime, guys. I have fun and I appreciate what y'all do. And you know, we talk about it all the time. There's so many different outlets that are out there. But let me tell you this. Whenever you're giving some good feedback and getting all this information out there, everybody needs it, because the most important thing is opinions, because everybody's opinion ain't the same. So when you get different ones, it always seems to pique your interest, get your thoughts going, and you're like, hey, man, I didn't even think about it that way. So keep up the good work. Keep pressing on, man. And, hey, thanks for having me on the Sports Roundtable.
Thanks for coming, Mike.
Yes,
Appreciate
yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. That was Mike Hardge.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Man.
Legend.
Hey, we got all the top dogs in the Austin area coming on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition, man. Eric
and the shout out to my boy Creek too, man. I love that.
That was funny.
But I mean, he nailed everything on the head. Obviously some new insight, but we've been talking about it last couple of weeks when it comes to Texas and Sark, and I really like the baseball insight he's got too, because you know, once we get into that springtime, I know Big Boy's
have him on a couple times.
Oh yeah, and Big Boy, we're gonna turn you into a little baseball fan, but
I guess I gotta watch it if I'm gonna be talking about it. I'll watch UT, but that's I can't do major leagues. It's too boring.
Exactly. Well, like we said, we got a jam-packed episode coming up next on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. In the next couple of minutes is gonna be Coach Fowler for our roundtable chats. Stay tuned for that. All right, Coach Fowler's. Oh, he's joining us right now as we speak.
He's on time, like always.
He is on time, like always.
Dude, what's up?
What's up, Coach?
Webb, what up? Dude, do I call you Rowdy? Like, how do we do this?
You can call me Rowdy. Yeah, that's what the pod goes by, is Rowdy. So,
all right, got it. Hey, got it. Say less.
How are we doing, man?
Dude, we're good. How are y'all doing?
Good, man. Good.
Making it a dream, you know, just talking sports every week.
Heck yeah. Webb had a dream. Come on.
Exactly. Well, joining us now is obviously Coach Fowler, Zach Fowler, strength and conditioning coach at Performance Course. Currently, are you still at Lone Star?
I am at Lone Star High School.
Still at Lone Star High School up in Dallas. And then was at the very own Round Rock High School, where he got
Go Dragons, baby.
Got the opportunity to be with me and Coop for a couple of years. So
yeah.
But with that being said, we'll we have some questions kind of laid out for you. So we'll just kind of roll into those and get to know you a little bit more for our fans.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
All right, Coach. I got the first one here.
Oh, this is it. It's
Yeah,
time.
I'll get to the who's the better Weber here in a second, but
Okay,
we'll get
all
to
right.
that later.
I figured that was coming.
No, so we know you're with Performance Course, but what were you doing before, and like how did you get to like where you're at now?
So performance course was actually at my high school, Allen High School. And I was doing it ever since I was in second grade. I didn't know what it was, what strength training was, or any of that stuff. My parents just dropped me off, I guess, because I had a lot of energy and it was the summertime and they needed to leave me somewhere. So I grew up, I just fell in love with it. First day I walked in, um, to our athletic facility at Allen, as a pup, just running around with all my friends and all that stuff. I fell in love with it. So every summer, every opportunity that I could, I did it. And then, dude, I had the mentality of a lot of high schoolers where it's like, hey, I'm going to go to the NFL. I'm going to play for the University of Texas or whatever it is. And once that kind of things came into, things got clear that wasn't going to be me. And I had to decide what I was going to do. It was always just, hey, I always loved performance course. I loved the weight room. I loved training. I loved lifting, and the whole process of leading up to the games. That was what I loved. Just like the gladiator type stuff, like preparing for war type stuff. I loved it. So my boss still, Gino Pierce, he was the guy that ran Allen. And so I asked him, I was just, hey, what do they call you? What do you do? Like, I would love to be you. He's like, hey, I'm a strength conditioning coach. You need to major in kinesiology or exercise science, whatever you want to call it. And so I was, hey, yeah, let's do it. So I went to Texas A&M. I interned over there because once I saw, hey, the big racks and the great athlete, dude, this is what I want to do.
Right.
But every summer I would go back with performance course, and run sites. I ran Frisco Lone Star. Actually, was the first site I ever ran. That was the summer of 2015. I was 20 years old, and I was told to act like a 26-year-old and get it done. Hey, yes, sir. And that's where I met Coach Rayburn, who's still the head coach at Frisco Lone Star. And I always, I interned during the year at Texas A&M, and I would always go back in the summer and be with high schoolers and all that stuff with performance course. And really what it boiled down to for me is the life that those dudes live, the work that goes into it. I love the lifting, and I love the training, and I love all that. I love being around the athletes and getting to know them and having those conversations with them. But just, looking forward, and now that I have a wife and God willing, one day I have children, it's like, that's a rough life to live, man. If you don't win, like, see ya. Like you got to go across the country. You got to be there tomorrow, pack your bags, all that stuff. And so, it just came to a decision for me, I guess, of which route I wanted to go. And I chose the high school route, and I met you two knuckleheads, and here I am, dude.
There you go.
For sure. What are we squatting, benching these days? About 450, 500?
I knew y'all were gonna pull that out, dude. It's been a minute since I've gone for a 1 rep on either of those. So I can't answer that question. I got to leave that one open ended.
That's all right. Well, looking at this, so obviously people always talk about how training and when it comes to lifting should always kind of change a little bit from sport to sport, especially when it comes to football and baseball, obviously. What would you kind of say or think those biggest differences are or should be between the two?
It's a good question. I think that just because really, like, when I watch football games and when I watch baseball games or basketball games, whatever it is, my mind goes to like what is demand, like what movements are they doing mostly? Like, for example, like football, like, dude, they're going to be beat every week. It's like they're getting in car wrecks. So now you got to talk about getting bigger, building armor, all of those things. Like, you got to think about like 4 to 6 second basically fights, like title bouts, that they're going, then you rest about 25, 30 seconds, and then you go again. And so that's where the conditioning standpoint comes in. That's where the strength, the power, all those things. And so really how I think about it is, at least at the high school level, and probably I would say at the collegiate level too, is the basics are the basics, like squatting, pressing, all those things. Everybody needs that. Now, when you look at like the auxiliary work or the accessory work, if you will, that's where you kind of get, nitty gritty or tweak it as far as what the sport demands. So like baseball, for example, my guys at Lone Star, we just finished week 7 of our program, and we're doing a lot of rotational stuff on the back end. So we floor press today. We did front squat. I mean, everybody's going to front squat for the most part, pressing. Everybody's going to do that. But once we get into our back end stuff and our pulls, I mean, we're doing single arm rows just like everybody else. But we're going to do rotational med ball work, a lot like you did, Coop. Rotational med ball work, rotational lunges. We'll get them on the bands and work really just torquing, like you're at a plate hitting the baseball. Yep. Their running demands are going to be way less intense, so to speak, than football guys, just because you don't necessarily need as much as that. Now, you got to run a curve a lot more than those guys do. So we got to work that. We got to work a lot of hip dissociation, like tracking a ball, all those things, reaction, which football does too. But again, that's what you kind of look at as far as how my brain works, is the basics are the basics, but on the back end stuff, now you kind of tweak it to what they need specifically on how they're working in their sport.
For sure.
Now, Coach, we know, you're strength and conditioning coach, but you're more than that. It's a lot more than that. Okay?
It is. It is.
Your motivation for winning and winning as a team is a big thing for you. And I've had a pleasure, being one of your guys.
But, Yep.
Were you always like that, or how did that mindset kind of come to be?
So, dude, these are good questions, man. Who's coming up with these?
All of these guys.
Wow.
It's a trio. It's the trio, dude, baby.
That's awesome. Okay, so my high school, Allen High School, we were very successful. And I went to all the games since I was I think my first game I went to was in 4th grade. And it was given that, hey, we're going deep in the playoffs. We're making a run for the state title. Like, there ain't no second place in our mind. If we get to playoffs and we lose, like that can't happen type stuff. And I was very fortunate to grow up in a community in a high school with coaches and really like teachers and everybody, like Joe down the road that did the barbecue joint. Like, man, it mattered to him. And so, going into middle school and going into high school, it never changed. It was always, hey, this is what we do. We win. Like, we're trying to be the last team standing. And if we're not, that's a problem. Now, where it kind of took a step further as far as like, we do this thing together for me is I was never the most talented dude. I was never, like Kyler Murray was our quarterback my senior year, and that dude's like touched, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't athletic like that. I was mainly a special teams guy is really what I was. If you want to look at it, I was like a 6-man coming off the bench in the NBA type stuff. So I was really living through those starting 22 guys. Like I wanted them to go ball out. So, we could get that ultimate goal that I grew up knowing is, hey, like we're going to be the state champions. Like that, it is what it is. Right. And last on that too, is like growing up in a community like that and growing up around guys like that. It's like, we didn't like hope to win. We never wished we expected to win. That was an expectation. And so again, not being the most talented guy is okay. I need other guys for me to win. I need other dudes to go out and do their job so I can win. And so that just kind of almost just got ingrained in me. And so then like going into college and coming back and running sites and doing performance courses, it's like, hey, I'm still that guy. Like even though I'm coaching dudes that are, like the Ryan O'Keefes or the Garrett Millers or whatever, you need these other dudes around you to get this thing done. Like there's other guys that live through you and need you to go out and do your job so that way that they can win. So you got to put on for those dudes just like you put on for you. Now we're about to fire me up and get like, we got to go. We got to go now. Let's go
love
back
my
to the rock
strength
and
coaches,
live, man. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It makes,
Hey,
makes me want to run through.
Fowler's one of those guys where, you know, it's 30 degrees outside and he's wearing his short sleeve shirt.
Don't do that. That's not me, Coop. I hate the cold. You know that.
Yeah, like I said, I love my strength coaches, man. They were awesome. They get you going, get you pumped up every day. Looking at your career as a whole, what would you say your dream job is, or are you already there and fulfilling that? What would be your number one job there?
So I was, you know, that's another great question. And it was told to me by one of my mentors that when you coach, there has to be an idea of what that dream job is, but you know, it's the cliche, be where your feet are, or whatever it is you want to say is when you attack the job you have right now as the dream job, then your dream job is going to come. Yeah. So really, to be honest with you, like 100%, I don't necessarily have an answer for that of what that ideal job is. It's just one thing where like, I'll know it when it comes to me, if that makes sense. I feel like if I don't look at the job I have as a dream job right now, like the kids that I'm going to see every day, like I'm doing them a disservice. So it's almost like, you know, I'll know what the dream job is when it comes to me, but the right now, that's my dream job.
For sure.
I got you.
So looking back a little bit to your experience obviously you went to a big high school, but looking back to when you were at the massive 6A high school at Round Rock and now at Lone Star, kind of what have those experiences kind of been like? That's kind of been the major differences, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So before I came down to Round Rock, I was at Lone Star. I was still in college when I was coming to Lone Star predominantly. So I wasn't around that place all the time like I was at Round Rock. But again, you want to talk about the first year, and this was God's plan. It was just laid out. But the first summer that I was in charge of a performance sports program at Frisco Lone Star, we ended up going to state championship. And it was like, you know, we ended up losing to Cedar Park, but like they hadn't seen that success before. And it's almost like that season changed it to where the expectation there was, hey, we win. Like we go to the state title game. Now we know what it looks like and we want to do that all the time. So then going down and again too, it's like DFW, me coming from DFW, me being at a 6A program in DFW, it was like you had all these powers around it, like the Highland Parks, the South Lake Carols, all that stuff. So going down to Round Rock, dude, moving down there, driving down 35, the only thing like high school wise, or the only places that I knew that had it like that was Westlake and Lake Travis. That's it. And so coming in there, to be honest with you, and that's why going down to Round Rock and being like, that was a awesome experience that like you can't replace, is going to a place that didn't have that expectation of we're going to be the last one standing. I had to really create genuine relationships, like with y'all two, with the J-Max, with the Garretts, with the Sullys, all of the, like, they had to realize who I was and where I was coming from to understand that expectation that I had, not just for myself, but for them. And so at first, dude, it was really frustrating because it's like, man, I'm supposed to come in here, blow the whistle. You guys are going to be fired up and we're going to go win state and let's lift weight and let's run and let's do it. But they had never really seen it like I had seen it, at least. And so then once I got to know
baseball did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a well-oiled machine, baby. But yeah, no, like them, I almost had to stop and say, look, I'm not even taking the time to get to know them. I'm just expecting them to think like I do. So that was those 3 years was a huge experience for me of like, hey, you can't coach the kid unless you know who the kid is as a human, and they know you as a human. So when I know where you're coming from, and then you know where I'm coming from, dude, we can make special things happen. But that's the first thing you got to do. Then everything else falls into place. Whereas before going to Round Rock, it was, hey, when you walk in and we train, like we're training to win. That's it. Like, I don't need to know your name. Hey, you, let's go. Oh, okay, bet. Yes, sir. Versus, hey, man, like chill out with all that type stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, like the expecting to win part, the expecting to go be the last one standing, it was, you got to know me first before I can get you thinking like that.
Yeah, man. So you being a football guy, what do you think about the college playoff, the 4 that are in there? And did you win state as a senior with Kyler?
I did, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I did. So the playoff stuff, this is what I thought y'all were gonna open up with. So I wanted to really make sure that I got to get my responses right.
We had to get you pumped up first.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, so we'll go one by one. So Michigan, dude, that's a well-oiled machine. And plus the fact that now, I mean, they're moving like they're pissed off. Like they're playing them versus the world. Like that's a real deal. Like when it's nobody wants success but us, that's a real thing. Obviously they go in, they win the Big Ten. I actually took Iowa plus 21.5 because guys, come on. Like that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Like just give me a tub, one tub. But again, shut them out. Obviously they're the one with what happened. At the 2, obviously with the way that, I don't know, two's a little bit weird for me. Okay, just because I don't know how to say this here.
Between what teams?
I know that I don't want to say it because it's gonna bother me. But Texas, like it. But again, it's just because I think of the Big 12 schedule is why they're. But dude, to be honest with you, like that's where my money's at. Like winning the whole thing. If I'm gonna be honest with you, of where they're at right now, like they're rolling. And you give.
I can't believe I'm listening to my boy Fowler say this right now.
Dude.
I love it. I absolutely love it,
dude. You give a dude like Sark a month to prepare for that game against the Washington, like that's spooky, man. Like that really is.
Yeah.
And they're hitting their stride right where they need to. Now going back to Washington, okay, dude, to be like going in to the Pac-12 title game, I thought that Oregon was going to roll them. Like Oregon was firing on all cylinders. But dude, Washington came out and it's almost like they ran a completely different game plan of what they've done all year. Like, hey, we're going to really run the rock. We're going to freaking throw it short, get them up, and then Penix can go do his thing. Washington is I don't know. I guess I didn't necessarily believe in them. I thought that Oregon was going to roll them. Saw what they did in the Pac-12 title game. I think if they play again, I don't know if it happens like that.
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm almost putting in my head of what Washington are we going to get?
Exactly. I mean,
but again, they should be in. Like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like UT when it comes to that too, because like UT had those games during the middle of the season after the OU game where it's like, what Texas are you going to really get? Like, are they going to play these close games with these teams that they shouldn't, like Washington did? So,
yeah. But I mean, again,
juicy stuff. Get to the 4 spot.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So again, like Texas too is like with the OU game, like Venables wasn't going to lose that game. Like there ain't no way.
Yeah.
And really, even with Quinn out, dude, they still like they didn't look like a bad team. Yeah. And Kansas State plays those. Kansas State's always that team that plays everybody to the wire. Like they're going to come out and play with anybody.
Oh yeah.
And they got through that one the way I wanted them to play OU in that big, like, because then it would have been a real statement. But again, I think Texas is a spooky team right now, really spooky. And then we get to 4.
Here we go. This is the most controversy there can be, baby.
We get to 4, and I see both sides of it. Florida State is undefeated team, Power 5, conference champ, all of those things. They have the resume, but without Jordan Travis, that is a different team. Like everybody out there knows it. And I have a good buddy who actually works in performance course who is a diehard Knowles fan, and he is like beside himself. And again, yes, you went undefeated. Yes, it is so you think automatically like we're not going to win. Like, why do games matter? Blah, blah. You can't tell me after watching them go to the swamp, play in Florida the way that I know it's the swamp at night, but Florida don't got Tim Tebow. They ain't got Chris Leak. They ain't got all those dudes. They ain't Florida. So yeah, the swamp can get down, but if you are that team that everybody says you are, go in there and prove something.
Yep.
Then you play Louisville in the ACC title game. Their defense played phenomenal. They did. But you got to put up more than 16 points. And they knew that. They knew that going in that game. Like, hey, we need to win convincingly. We do. And they didn't. They didn't. And without Jordan Travis, that's a completely different football team. I get it. You won the ACC. I get it. You're undefeated. But that's a different team.
Yep.
With the SEC, it's crazy to me. Like it is like if you are the SEC champ, you get in. But for Georgia to go however many games in a row,
29.
dominate all year, you lose to a Nick Saban coached Alabama team by 3. You're the number 1 ranked team in the country. You're out. That's crazy. I mean, yes, Alabama's the SEC champ, all of that. And they got beat by Texas in Tuscaloosa and everything, like the South Florida game. Yeah. But how Georgia played all year.
Yep.
And you're going to do the eye test thing, so to speak, with Florida State. But you're not going to do the eye test thing with Georgia. They just have the SEC stamp, SEC champ by their name. They're in. I don't know. Like, again, get me on recording. I think Georgia needs to be in.
So do you think Georgia should be in over
who
Bama?
you take out, Alabama?
Yeah, over Bama.
I think Georgia needs to be in instead of Alabama. Because, again, like what Kirby Smart said after that game, which is true, is if you think of the 4 best teams in the country, there's no way that you don't say Georgia. There's no way.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, they've also had them at 1 this whole time. The 1 loss brings them all the way down to 6.
Exactly.
Not even 5, 6.
Well, it really comes down to the fact that UT goes in to Bama and beats them at Bama. I mean, if UT doesn't do that, you probably have Georgia and Bama in at 3 and 4, and Florida State still gets screwed either way. So
that's true. That's true.
I'm gonna go off script here. I was supposed to ask you a different question, but I'm gonna ask you a football related question. Since we all disagree about it, okay, we got freaking Daniels right there. We got Bo Nix right here. I'm with Penix. Who do you have winning the Heisman?
Dude, I'm a Bo Nix guy. I gotta be honest.
Even after he lost twice to Michael Penix?
Bro, Oregon doesn't do what they do without Bo Nix.
Exactly.
They don't.
Well,
Washington too. What's that?
Does Washington?
No.
LSU. I mean, LSU might have 4 victories without them.
That is valid. However, now you go to the stat line. Doesn't Bo Nix have more tubs? I could be wrong. I have no idea.
Daniels? I don't know.
I think they're like almost the same.
I was talking about Penix.
Bo has better stats than
completion
Penix
percentage,
does. Yeah. Bo's got better stats than Penix, but Daniels has it all in the bag.
Yes, Daniels has a stat line, but bruh, you ain't a
Still
win.
lost. Yeah.
You ain't a
Well,
win.
you lost 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Now again, he's unreal, but I mean, based off again criteria, how it's been, like you gotta win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be interesting. I mean, I think the Vegas favorite's still Daniels by a shit ton now too. So.
Oh, is
Really?
it?
Yeah, I think it goes Daniels. Like before that game, it was like Daniels was minus 150 and Bo Nix was like plus 150, but I think it's even more spread out now.
Well, now and then Daniels just won that award.
AP
That,
Player of
like,
the
there's
Year.
only been 2 people that have won that award that haven't won Heisman. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Was
Yeah,
one of
he's
them
probably
Vince
got
that
it.
year? I remember Vince won one
Yeah,
year, and they were
yeah.
like, he's going to win the Heisman.
Yeah. And Reggie took it.
Yeah.
Little
He
cheater.
took- Hey, man.
Little
They
cheater.
need to give him that back. They need to give him that back.
Sticking
Hey,
on.
Coop, I have a question for you. Do you
What's
listen
up?
to he's going for the corner, he's got it on repeat before you go to bed?
I mean, I can't even tell you
Coop.
how many times I've watched that whole game.
Coop,
I mean,
Coop,
I-
tell him the one you really listen to more.
Oh, Justin Tucker's kick is up. Justin Tucker's kick is good.
All right, we good? Like, is this we good?
I'm joking, Fowler.
All right, see y'all. That was fun.
What do you think
joking.
about the offensive coordinator? What do you think about Colin?
Dude, I don't know so much about him as a coordinator, but dude, I loved him when he was playing for
He was
K-State.
a dog. Yeah.
He was a dog.
Mhm.
He was in New York too for the Heisman one year,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was the year that Johnny won.
That's
why
right.
They kind of made a big deal of it because it was Johnny's birthday yesterday whenever they hired him too. So it was just
wow.
like
That's
it was
weird.
like a little weird thing. Yeah.
That's weird.
But they were both at the same Heisman ceremony.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Now,
probably just
I'll
the
tell
fact
you
they
this
got a
is
young guy
I
too.
wanted when A&M was hiring a coach, one of the dudes that I was excited about, like if it was real, I was reading whatever, but that head coach from K-State,
Oh yeah.
that would have been awesome.
So
He's a good coach.
do you like the hire at head coach?
I like it. I like him. When I think that I got my hopes up when stuff was coming out about like Dan Lanning, dude. I was like, heck, hey, that's what we need right there. And then too, I read something where Kyle Whittingham from Utah,
Yep.
that would have been awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because we need a dude that's like, hey, we do it this way, and that's how we do it. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Which I think that Elko will do that. I just, like I said, I think I got my hopes up reading into too much stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I think as long as his OC, because he's gonna try to bring like the wrecking crew type back. And I think if his OC and that OC there, he's physical minded, and I think that's what A&M wants to be more. And his offense, it's they're gonna run the ball and they're gonna be physical. So
Yeah.
But he can also throw some good passes, good pass game in there too.
Oh yeah.
I think it's not bad.
Now you just need to increase your NIL fund so you can keep some of these dudes from transferring.
Hey, look, one thing I know is A&M, dude, we got money. We got money. That ain't a problem, dude.
What's weird to me is the defensive guys are half or most of the guys that are leaving, and like that was their coach a couple of years ago. So
That is weird. That is really weird.
Yeah, it is.
I think they'll be all right. I like Elko for the hire, honestly, for y'all. I'm not being biased at all. I like Elko there. I'm not, I'll give it to you.
Coop, we'll see you next year, dog. You better come with me.
Kyle Field,
that's gonna be awesome.
Come with me.
Let's go together. Let's go.
Get us some tickets. Come on.
Yeah, and make sure you don't get my little cousin beat up because he's gonna be talking.
That's gonna be like getting Taylor Swift tickets, dude.
Yeah,
that game.
Ridiculous.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I remember when that leaked, I told my wife, I was like, babe, whatever we gotta do. Whatever we gotta do,
we're
we're eating ramen noodles for a
gotta
week.
do.
Eating ramen noodles for a week. We're going to that game.
Dude, that's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be nuts.
It is. Well, man, we appreciate you coming on and obviously answering our questions and talking some ball with us.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. I'm proud of you guys, man. This is awesome. What's like the next, like sponsors is the next step or what?
Yeah, we're trying to get some sponsors. We got the merch coming out, which I know
I
you
saw
some.
that.
Yeah, the merch will be coming out soon. And then we just got on Spotify this week. So we're on Spotify now. So for the people that don't want to have to look at Coop's face every week, they can just listen.
And we're writing blogs too. We're writing blogs.
So, are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Coop ain't writing. Coop's girlfriend.
The girls are writing blogs.
There
we got
you
some
go.
girls writing.
Yeah. Family affair, baby. I love it.
So sponsors the next thing. So, if Performance Course wants their little thing right down here in the corner, just let me know.
That would look good. I'll talk to my people, man. That would look real good.
Hell yeah. But hey, we appreciate it. And if your schools, they need Performance Course. They need it. Coach Fowler and the boys, they know what they're doing.
Appreciate you guys, man. This is awesome.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Nice to meet you, man.
Thank y'all. Nice to meet you. Have a good one.
Coach.
You too.
See you soon. All right.
Bringing the juice.
Coaches,
bringing the juice.
Coach Fowler, always bringing it.
Always, man. That's why you gotta love the strength and conditioning coaches, man. They're just like they're on one all the time.
And it's at like 5 a.m. in the morning. 5 a.m. in the morning, he's like that, and I'm like, man, like I gotta wake up.
My coach Zerno, we had two in high school, Coach Wall and Coach Zerno, and it was one of those things like we have to say the Pledge of Allegiance as we were lifting while the other guys were going. I mean, it was just all America, and it was awesome, man. He had us going crazy, man. It was a great time.
There's all kind because Fowler, his first year was my senior year at Round Rock. He came in my fall. And I mean, I can remember so many mornings with baseball, he'd have us out there. We'd be out there at 6:30, 7 a.m. and it was raining and missing. And we'd be out there on the field just running sprints. And his ass was just acting like it was 75 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, they got to, man. Our coach used to always wear a towel. He'd be ready like he was getting in the game.
No, but I will say that's probably one of the best things that Round Rock's ever invested in because they still do Performance Course today, even though he's not there. They're still running it up over there. And that's been one of the biggest things because just Round Rock really, like you said, they really never had that type of.
So it's not for the high school. It's a thing that they bring in, like have their own, like sub it out.
Different thing they bring in.
That's awesome. That's smart, man. It's a good deal.
Round Rock pays them to bring it in.
Yeah.
So they do all the sports, obviously like mainly football and stuff, and then during the summer they'll do like their summer stuff with football specific, but then they'll have other girl camps and stuff like that.
Do they go to other schools besides Round Rock too? Would you go to a couple different schools?
I think they do Westwood during the summer. I don't know if they do it during the school year, but I know they do it during the summer.
That's
They're
awesome,
growing
man.
A lot. They have a bunch of schools they do now.
Things are so different these days with training and athletics year round.
Makes it a lot easier on the coaches too.
Yeah.
One less thing they got to worry about.
They can trust them and they can trust guys like him and know that their kids are getting the workout they need, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that was our roundtable chat of the week right here on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. We appreciate all y'all tuning in, whether it's on Spotify, YouTube. Don't forget, like we just mentioned, the website's live with the merch. The new blog is on there as well. And of course, we're going to have our picks coming up on there later in the show. But coming up soon, we're going to have Kobe joining us for Kobe's Locks of the Weekend.
Getting to hear some hate going on now.
He's already told me he's got a little bit ready to go. He's pumped to be coming to join us for a little bit more of a longer time since we don't have any guest picker this week since it's just NFL. We'll give you our NFL picks later on in the show. But before we get him on, let's go ahead and look at our standings from last week.
No, this is bad, dude. Listen, it's all good, It was a bad weekend for me.
I think it was not very great for all of us, actually, if I can remember right.
Yeah, we all sucked. We were all just worried about UT. We had our head in the game, man. We can't worry about other stuff,
Right.
So here was our NFL.
Ooh, God, hey.
At least me and Reed tied. That's not bad. I'll hit 500.
Yep. That was the tie there. And I am in the process of totaling up everything. We're going to get the college totaled up by Tuesdays.
I'll
on
be the
edge.
winner for sure. 100%.
I don't know. It's going to be close, man. The last time I totaled it up a couple weeks ago, it was pretty tight.
Uh-huh.
All right, and then college.
I think we all did. Yeah, that's pretty poor there.
Only 10 games.
I think that's our worst week we've had as a group, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's just
Sorry,
the fact that I did that 10-team parlay and I started off 4-0 and I ended up going 1-5 in the late window.
Oh, that's awful.
And then looking at, of course, our guest pickers of the week, the running standings, the NCAA now done. We may have NFL people come on here and there, but NCAA finished up. Jinx 12-3, the winner. We'll be bringing him on in the next couple of weeks for a longer segment. I was really disappointed, guys, with those are some bad numbers in our guest picker standings. I feel like College Game Day, their guest picker standings are amazing. And
well, they also don't have to pick with the spread.
Well,
it's a little easier to pick the winner.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true.
Because most of the guys are over 500. In college.
It's a good point.
Jake. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to pick in the spread, man. I can come up here and pick the winner. 7 out of 10 times.
Now the NFL was a little different. Kobe's still 11-4, but the NFL is a harder game with that spread for sure. No doubt about that. But that is our pick recap coming up in the next couple minutes. Like I said, Kobe's going to be joining us. Then after him, we're going to talk some NFL matchups going into this weekend. And then we're going to talk some other sports too, guys. I mean, college is kind of wrapping itself up. So we're going to look at the NBA season in-season tournaments going on right now. Big golf news today. For your golf lovers out there, I don't know if y'all saw that, but
money.
It's all about that money. But we're gonna get to that once we get Kobe on coming up right now. Joining us now for Kobe's locks on the weekend, we got Kobe.
What's up, boys?
How are we
What's up,
doing?
Kobe?
What's up, Coop?
Give me something. What's a hot take? I want a hot take from the start. What is it? Let's hear it.
Hot take: Washington wins 35-3.
We're not the Hawkeyes. We're gonna score a little more than fucking 0. Okay.
Listen, the MVP of the year is the Hawkeyes punter.
Yeah, right.
Oh, here we go. Here goes the Hawkeye number 2 over here. The other Texas hater. Yeah, let's get him going.
Hey,
say goodbye to Arch.
Oh.
He ain't going nowhere.
I don't care how. Hey, dude, see,
that hat is sick.
Hey, no. Hey, right. Hey, a good friend of mine was in a thrift store in Houston, and he saw it and was like, "Oh, I gotta get this." But no, I've been thinking about this, and y'all can agree with this, or y'all can say "fuck off." But just hear me out.
Fuck off.
You can say all you want about us, right? But we still won 10 games. And I don't care what people say.
No,
as shitty and boring and nasty and gross it is to watch us play year in and year out, you see the Hawkeyes, dude, winning 9. So it's consistent. And we beat a good team or two every year. We'll say we've always got a great defense. If we can hire a good offensive coordinator, which I was, hire a good offensive coordinator and
go buy some internet, and then we can hear what you're saying. Jeez,
internet. Look, dude, I don't appreciate that.
Okay, there we go.
There you are. You're back now.
Now you're better. Now we can hear you. We couldn't hear anything you were saying. No, like I texted you, if Iowa could average 17 points, they'd be undefeated.
We'd be national champs.
You would be in the tournament, no doubt. I agree. I agree, man. It's sad.
We're that school every couple of years, man. I can't explain it, but I would say once every 3 or 4 years, we have a special season, man, and win a solid 11 games, and it comes down to the Big Ten champ. Just a solid, very good. I think next year, if we get a decent offensive coordinator,
I don't know
watch
how
out.
they haven't hired one yet. Still though, everyone's
Well,
hiring them left and
because
right.
for the last, I don't know, 5 years, Kirk has had his son, who might be on the spectrum, has had his son. He's been their coordinator, man, and he has been
he should have
awful.
fired him 3 years ago.
He has been so bad. It's pathetic. It's like everyone else has evolved while we still run an offense from 1918.
Hey, all
It's
I know,
the most disgusting thing.
Hey, but when there's 12 teams in the playoff, y'all could be one of those teams that gets in at being number 8 and ends up winning it all. I do believe that, no doubt.
Dude, I've been saying it since the playoffs started. It's so stupid. It's only been 4. Fucking 8 or 12 is gonna be so badass. I cannot wait. 12, dude. 12 teams is gonna be legit. Because exactly, at some point, a 12 seed or a 10th seed or someone is gonna get hot and just start whooping some watch.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, all I know is if I'm on that defense, I'm entering the portal until I can get an offense that can play for me. Because those defensive dudes who go play at a good school with an offense and go win something. But
I'm trying so hard not to attack y'all because I'll give you your flowers, man. Y'all are in the playoffs. Y'all are the 3rd best team right now. So hey, but I will say this. Wait, do y'all play them next weekend?
No, it's not for a month. It's on the 1st.
January 1st.
Oh, good God, it's that far away.
Yeah,
Sark got all the time in the world, baby.
Sark's, he's gonna have a game plan there. So
look, he's scared now. He's scared now.
No, I'm not scared. I'm just curious, in y'all's opinion, is that a good thing that y'all have to wait so long?
I do. Because I think Sark with a long time, he's like Herman to me. Like you give him a lot of time, he's going to come up with something.
Well, that and you got all your players getting healthy, getting right.
Oh, yeah. And Quinn's shoulder, I mean, who knows where that really is? I mean, so
you don't think that there's like any problem with not playing a team for basically a month? I mean,
they got to do it too. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather everyone be healthy.
I'm saying it right now. Okay. I'm saying it right now. Y'all be Washington. Then I'm going to have to come back on the show and I'm going to have to talk shit about y'all. It's going to be the same thing, chatter. But when y'all play Bama, because I'm telling you right now, Bama's going to beat the shit. I'm predicting a score in Bama and Michigan. It's going to be 56-21 Bama. I'm calling it right now. Write it down somewhere. They are going to kill Michigan and then play y'all. And dude, I don't care what you'll have to say. It's so hard to beat Bama 2 times in the same season.
It will be so tough.
It's damn near impossible. So that game is going to be – watch. Y'all are going to be fair. Y'all are going to be dogs in that game. And I'm sorry, boys. If it's close, I'm hammering Bama because I just don't see it happening. We can talk about that. But
we'll see.
Because, I mean, yeah.
But we got to worry about Washington. I'm going to play it politically. Wait, listen, we got a game against Washington.
Still got to get through Washington. So, hey.
Hey, if that does end up the national championship, though, that may be the most watched national championship in history.
Every year it is, though. I mean,
oh man. Well, yeah.
But with those 2 teams and the matchup with the hype of how it's been all year since week 2,
most watched and most hyped up for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this Final Fours are already probably going to be one of the most hyped up, no doubt. I mean,
wait until there's 12, man. It's going to be so awesome watching a real tournament of college football. I mean, like D1 AA. Like I've watched that one because my buddy, they won the national championship in 2001 at UMass. And I got to watch that whole thing and go to the games. And it's so awesome. It is so awesome.
I just don't get why we don't do or we. I say we like we as in D1. I've wondered that since I was a kid. That would be so bad at for like a what? It's like a 64 team playoff, or it's like a huge playoff.
I think
That
they
would
have
be
32. I think
Oh,
32 or
still,
6. Yeah,
still,
16
that,
for I can't remember.
that is
Yeah,
so badass. 'Cause
yeah.
12 would be the
anyone
perfect
can
amount.
win.
No, you need more. I
12,
want more
yes.
games. No
I
more
would
bowl
say
games. Either you make it to the playoff or you don't, you go home. That's what I think it should be. It should be like the NFL.
or
There's no bowl games. Either you make it or you don't.
or okay, but people want to see a lot of football still. So instead of bowls, it could be like college basketball and have one big tournament for the winners, and then
Like
have one
NIT. Yeah.
the exactly.
You
Yeah.
can't even
Exactly.
get dudes. You can't even
Hawkeyes
get
win
dudes to
that
play in New Year's Six bowls. They ain't gonna play in those damn bowls or in that little NIT tournament. That ain't gonna happen.
Boss, I'll still watch it.
No,
Okay.
I think the top 12 would be perfect, but I also think just because how the first round's like at the higher seed, like home game, that's sick. Like having the home field advantage first round. Obviously, if you're top 4, you get a bye, so that's even better.
So
for
you don't get the home game though. That's what I think. I think
What?
they're kind of giving the benefit. You know how much money those teams are going to make that are 4 through 8?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
they're going to make all the money.
But if you're top 4, you get that extra week of rest because instead of all this time off, like you're rolling in right after it would be this weekend, the first round.
Would it start that quick?
Yeah. Like it would start up
Right.
quick because then you do that round and then you have your final 8, I guess it is, would be, or not 8, 6 would be kind of middle of December, kind of normal bull season. And then your final 4, you still have what it is now. So, I mean, it's a long draw. I mean, it's a month process, pretty much a month playoff.
God, it's going to be awesome.
But
nah, you have to reward the teams that go 6-6. I mean, some 6-6 teams don't even. So I think if you're like 7-5, if it's some type of trash poop playoff game with all the shit teams, or if it's a bowl game or something, I feel like you have to do it. So
they'll have bowl games. It's just too much money for them to leave on the table. Even the Texas Bowl and you know.
Oh, I bet you all the bowls, dude, get a shit ton of money.
Yeah, exactly.
No doubt. Well, looking at we're going to be pulling up your locks of the weekend. No college. We know it's straight NFL, and you got 2 UFC as well. What do we got cooking this weekend?
Man, I love the Bengals here, dude. I think they win this game. Trying to pull up my notes here on this one. I think they win this game, man. I just don't. I'm not buying into the Colts that much, dude. They're 7-5. They're technically in first place. We're in first place. We're a better team, but yeah, dude. I just think the Colts are a little overrated, and they've been playing pretty good lately. But this is the game. Why are the Bengals favorites here? I mean,
because they just beat the Jags.
I get that, but the Jags, the Jags overrated. 2, the Jags lost their starter for the game, not for the game, but he got hurt in crunch time. Like, since he still kind of had to grind that out. So, yeah. And they still have a backup. I don't know, man. Backup quarterback looked really good.
He's confident.
Jake Browning looking good, bro.
Yeah.
He's rolling.
No one's going to believe me. I swear, I've been wanting that kid to get a chance since he was at Walk. He was so good in college. He was a stud. I think people forget how good. I don't think he even got drafted that high, but he was a pretty high recruit, I believe, and he was fucking a stud in college, dude. So
yeah,
could be some could be something there.
Jake, he leads that team pretty well too. So
He looks smooth, huh?
yeah.
Like just yeah. But yeah, man, I'll take the Bengals there. I like them a lot. Chargers, this is a must-win game. Dude, I did not know they are 5-7. That fucking head coach on the Chargers is gonna get fired.
Gone.
He should. He should.
Dude, I
They
thought
got
he was
talent.
a good coach. I really thought for what he had me fooled for a year or two. I was like, he's that young stud, smart. No, he sucks. He's gone, man. But here, I like the Chargers, man.
Real quick before you do that next one. Real quick
Yeah.
before you do that next one. Have y'all seen the score of this Thursday night game?
No, what is it?
The Patriots.
Let me guess. Patriots 21-3.
It's almost halftime. The Patriots are up 21-10.
Good. I got the Patriots.
But they haven't scored more than 21 points in the last 4 weeks combined. That's insane.
They scored. They held the other team to under 10 points and lost all the games, man.
No, their defense has been good, but
yeah,
old Zap has 3 TDs.
That's still Bill Belichick.
Can
man.
you 3? Can you check for me, Cade, who scored that third touchdown? Because I saw who scored the second or the first and the second. If it's Zeke, I'll be pissed.
No, it was Hunter Henry again. Hunter Henry has 2 touchdowns. Zeke has 1.
Cool.
Deontay Johnson has 1.
So, excuse me. Oh, and it sucks that y'all don't let me pick those games on Thursday because I had the Patriots. I'll put that on. I knew the Pats would smoke. It's those games, man. I was just talking about it. There's always a game with a team who everyone's talking about, saying, "Oh, they're trash. Oh, the Patriots suck. Is Bill Belichick overrated? Is he going to get fired?" Always in the headlines. They always trash, right? And then the same week they come out and they curb stomp the team they're playing. I call it all the fucking time. I love the Patriots there. I would have added them, but yeah. Chargers, man. Yeah, I like Chargers there. Vikings. I like the Vikings here. I just want to say this card I did not like at all. Like, it was a very kind of square card to me. There's a few picks. I like maybe 2 games that I liked, but I was like, all right, I got to fucking put on for the boys here. But I'll take the Vikings. They should win this game, man. They're just, to me, a better team. I get they're on the road, but I think the Raiders are going to start regressing in a bad way here, and I think the Vikings have to win, man. Josh Dobbs has the ball out because he's been playing like shit. So
that's why he's been traded 10 times in the last 3 years. I keep trying to tell y'all motherfuckers this.
He's good until he's not good, and when he's not good, it's like, dude, pull this kid out of the game. He's trash. Yeah. And I can't even see. I'm trying to. Oh, Texas.
Your boys.
Texas. What am I doing, man? Bro, I can talk about this game for a while here, but I won't because
I want to ask you a question about it. Actually,
we'll talk about it after he finishes the picks.
No, hold on. Okay. I want to ask him a question about the Texans for real.
What?
How does the Texans keep their offense going without wide receiver 1 Tank Dell?
That's what they did last week after he got hurt.
Oh, like, I want Kobe's opinion. How do they keep it going?
Okay, in my opinion, my honest to God opinion,
yes,
and it isn't as a fan, it's as a football junior scout. Okay. I got a football mind. Okay. Right. I could be a GM, I swear.
Your fantasy team's got to make the playoffs.
Hey, watch. I knew you were going to say something about that. Well, hey, man, I got fucked on injuries, and you know it. Was a bad year.
That's part of being a GM.
Dude, I tried. No one in that league would trade with me. And then Cade and Cooper are trading. Cade paid Cooper like $10 for a trade, and he robbed him. He cheated.
Hey, I'm still going to make the playoffs without him, though. That's
$10 for your pride. For your pride, Cooper.
I'm still going to make
pathetic.
the playoffs. I'm still winning the league. So what does it matter?
That's pathetic.
You ain't winning shit.
But I, honest to God, man, think, dude, we're still, in my opinion, this season, Tank Dell wasn't wide receiver one. I mean, it was a 1A and 1B to me. Nico Collins, I've been saying it since we dude, 6'4", 215, can snag, got great hands, runs good routes, and can run fast. He's 1A. I think we're still good, man. We have another rookie we drafted from Iowa State who was a stud. Hutchinson. He'll start playing more.
Oh, Texas.
I mean,
there you go.
I'm not too worried about it, dude. Yeah, man. Texans here, weird line to me. You'd expect us to be favored more. I mean, we're playing fucking Zach. And when the Zach Wilson news dropped, the line didn't change at all. And that scares the shit out of me, man. But I still got to go with my boys here. We're just the better team, clearly. Like, if they had Rodgers, I still think the Texans would.
Whoa!
I still think
Come on, man.
I don't think Rodgers is all that, man. He was. Hey, I can talk about that. But if you check his stats, I don't care what people say. He ain't the same. But
he doesn't have
only thing
right
about
now.
this game that I hate, man, is we're playing at the Jets and it's going to be colder than shit. It's going to be like 20 degrees.
It's going to be so cold. Texas don't like playing at the cold. Welcome to playoff football, Texans.
Man, we play inside. So, I mean,
exactly.
Shit, dude.
Soft.
We're playing at MetLife, so you know about 3 of our players about to fucking snap a leg.
Yeah.
We're done. Freezing cold and windy, which means
it's got to be CJ Stroud next. Watch.
No, don't say that.
Don't
say that.
Hey,
I don't like him, and you don't say that, man.
Hey, what the hell is who does that? Who does?
I'm just predicting the future over here. That's it.
Come on, man. Don't do that.
I hope it doesn't. I hope it
we
doesn't
already got
happen.
enough quarterbacks out for this season. I mean,
just got to add it to the AFC totem pole.
I truly might block Cade on everything. Like, I'm not even joking around, man. Way too far, Cade.
CJ might be listening to this, and now he's going to go out and play scared because you said he was going to rip his Achilles in half. I mean, come on, Cade.
I didn't need to say that for him to go out and play scared.
CJ, do not play scared. You're good, dude. Okay?
We have faith in you, CJ.
You're good. Nah, man. Love the Texans here, dude. We'll be fine. Scrap it out. It's that playoff game. It's going to be something like 17-6 or like 17-9. I don't see the Jets scoring. I truly don't, man. Brees Hall's banged up and he sucks now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said because the Jets can't score. Because their quarterback is trash.
Oh, yeah. But I will say this too. This is one of these games I was just talking about. And this is why I truly do I'll say it between us 3 and the thousands of people who are going to watch these at some point. Yeah. Sorry, millions of people. I'm scared. I'm scared shitless about this game, dude. Straight up. I'm scared about this game right now because it's one of those games. Everyone's talking about the Jets suck. Zach
doesn't want to play.
Wilson, worst quarterback in the league, right? Don't be surprised if Zach Wilson comes in and goes about 28 of 34 with 305, 2 touchdowns. Watch. Zach Wilson might ball out. All right.
Go, you can go play quarterback better, man.
Listen, this is my thing. I'm telling you, I hit on these bets. I need to start screenshotting these bets that I always talk about and showing y'all so y'all fucking believe me. I hit on these bets, and I'm telling you, this line is weird, man. It's a very tricky line. It should be more. It's at the Jets. It's just one of those games I'm kind of scared about. I think Zach Wilson might ball out. I'll just say. And then, man, for UFC, real quick, y'all got the graphic wrong. I don't want to hate on y'all. Like, I feel bad even saying it. Like, I should have just.
That guy right there.
What do you mean?
I should have just changed my pick for the pod and just said fuck it. But no, sorry, Kane.
That's what you said.
I gotta call you out on it.
Kahil to beat Anthony, Nashrat to beat Jamie.
Yes,
that's what I have.
You put Jamie.
No, that means Jamie's gonna win. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, jackass. Fuck. Okay, Khalil Roundtree. He's fighting Anthony Smith. Smith, man, is just old. He's prone to getting the shit beat out of him.
I think he's always been overrated. I think
he's the worst tattoos in the UFC. 1, 2, very just overrated. He's a journeyman. And people always hype him up, blah, blah, because he fought John Jones, all that shit. All that. He got dominated by John Jones. Who the fuck cares
and
about
the fight
that, right?
before that, to get that fight by John Jones, he was getting smoked, and then at the last minute, knocked the dude out. It was the luckiest little stretch ever.
Smith. He got lucky, right?
He's horrible.
He's going to get knocked the Roundtree to win by knockout is minus. If there's ever a fighter and they're prop to win by knockout and it's minus money, good God. But yeah, Roundtree, I can't think of the odds, but it's in the 200s, man. So, I mean, for a parlay, it's a great pick. And then for the other one, I've got Nazrat, whatever. I don't even want to try to say his last name. Hop Karast. I don't even want to say it, dude. He's a stud, man. He wins. He's fighting Jamie Malarkey. I've seen him fight a few times. It's just he's a tough white boy, but he just always loses. Like, I swear I've seen him fight like 5 times. I've never seen him win. His face gets worse and worse each time you see him because the poundings he takes. Like, he just gets pounded on. And Nazrat is a stud. Young prospect. If you parlay them together, man, it's plus odds. It's 103. So, I mean, to me, that's 2 of the biggest locks that you could get, and it's a little over even money. I'm just saying.
Who was Khalil getting into it with? Yeah,
Khalil,
like a Russian when they went up to each other and they were talking trash. He was like sitting there on the phone. I saw it the other day.
No, I think that was Sean Strickland.
No, it wasn't Sean. I
know
Sean.
Well, because Strickland on a podcast, I think he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about him and Roundtree like had some beef, and he called him out, and he called him like a bitch or whatever, and like all this shit. But I don't know.
That dude's crazy, man. I love that dude.
He's wild, dude.
Yeah.
To think that a person like that is champion of the UFC.
Not only that, but beat freaking Izzy. Gosh,
dude, it's the most like 8. And I'm not saying I called it, but I put money on Strickland, and I won. I'm just saying.
That's ridiculous.
I swear. I swear to y'all, I won. I might even have a screenshot of it still. I'll pull it up. But Strickland, man, yeah, it's crazy. He's champ there. But
well, that is Kobe's locks of the weekend right there. But he's not leaving us. He's staying on.
He said cut him off.
No,
Cade said cut him off. We were done with him. Man,
he's staying on. Listen,
that was bad, man.
Dude.
He's staying on. Those are his locks of the weekend. But real quick, we got to show our people our our games. So this is Kobe's first time he's going to get to see. So real quick for the people watching, here's our game board. And then we're going to show you who we got winning. And then we're going to give you one lock, Coop. You got that? One, not three. One.
If any of y'all say the Patriots, you're a liar.
You see that, big boy?
Oh, that a boy, Ryan.
Thank you.
Boy.
There are our picks of the weekend. Coop, who's the one lock you got?
Listen, I saw the Browns -3.
Wow. All three of y'all are on the Browns.
Yeah, and you know, when I see that, even without a quarterback, the Jags have, I'm gonna go Browns -3.
All right,
I like that one too, but mine is the Bills. We got it +1.5. I think the Chiefs are overrated.
Same.
All right. I like the Ravens. I think it was -7 or -8. I like him to cover that against the Rams. Yeah. Against the Rams. I like that. I also like the Bears too. I think the Lions have hit their overhyped train, and the Bears are gonna
the Bears
come in there and cover that spread at least, if not win.
Same, Cade. Yeah.
Those are our picks of the weekend. Now we're gonna go over big boy Longhorns in the NFL.
All right. I got a couple here. Brandon Jones. We got both our safeties. Both for Miami are starting at Miami, and so he had 5 tackles, 4 solo. PJ Locke, he's doing it in the NFL, man. Doing good. 8 tackles, 6 solo, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and a QB hit. And really, I just wanted to note that Derek Johnson is going to the College Hall of Fame. Y'all are a little younger, but Derek Johnson was the man. He was Anthony Hill. Just that's who Derek Johnson was to me. And and when Anthony moves to the middle, I really think that's what we got there. He won the Bronco Nagurski and the Buckus when he was a senior. He was a 2-time All-American, finalist for about every single defensive award. He also finished 12th in the Heisman. And, and he was listed among the top 10 finalists for Walter Camp Player of the Year. He was the only defensive player to ever be in both groups. And, like I said, 2-time All-American, unanimous in 2004, and Big 12 Player of the Year. And he was also Big 12 Athlete of the Year. So in 2004. So he won every award. And he was, 2004, he was part of that class that kind of changed everything. And then, of course, 2005, they went and won it. So, and, he was part of that team that beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl to really get things going.
So it's going to be like Tavondre Sweat. That's what you're telling me right there.
Well, hopefully he wins this year. Yeah.
Well, and Tavondre may even finish better than 12th on the Heisman. So I know they had him in the top 10.
Kind of like Bijan to me. Like Bijan kind of brought things back in his class. That 2000 class was kind of that for Mac. Like, okay, we getting, the 5 stars again and stuff like that.
I will add on. He played for the Chiefs, but he played for someone else, right? But he was good, man.
He was very, and in the pros, really to me, he was a smaller linebacker, fast.
He was the shit in the pros.
And so when everybody started running that spread, he had already seen it in the Big 12 because the Big 12 was running it. And he he was an all-pro many a year. So
played for the Chiefs, right?
He was the Chiefs. I don't know if he played for anybody else for the Chiefs.
For some reason, I'm thinking the Eagles. I don't know why.
Maybe got drafted. I think it was the Chiefs the whole time.
Yeah,
the only team I know of is the Chiefs that I remember him playing on at least.
Yeah, he was
a baller, man.
He was a stud.
All right, well, that is the Longhorns in the NFL. We already talked a little bit about the Texans and the Jets, the Bills and the Chiefs, but Coop texted me one before this that he wanted to talk about, And it was, and Kobe already mentioned it earlier, but the opposite. And it's the Colts to the playoffs is what Coop's saying.
Colts are making the playoffs, guys. Listen, they're on 4-game winning streak, okay? Gardner Minshew is him, okay? He's got the coaches behind him. He's got the players behind him. He's got the fan base behind him. Gardner Minshew is running that locker room, okay? May lose to old Jake Browning this week, but hey, he's running that locker room pretty well.
Sounds like you should go on the Pat McAfee show.
Do what?
I said it sounds like you should go on the Pat McAfee show with Pat and be a Colts fan with him.
For sure. No, and I'm a Texans boy too, so it hurts. But the Colts are playing good football. You can't ignore the fact that they've won 4 straight. Go, come on. You know, their passing defense. Their passing defense before last week, they were giving up less than 200 yards passing before last week.
You do realize that all that shit, he's playing great, the fans love him, his teammates, right? You realize that Minshew is gone after this season, no matter what.
That's
he is
fine.
a one and done.
It's like the Nick Foles of Philly that one.
Hey, here's
like.
the year though. I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about this year. I'm not talking about in the future, Cope. I'm talking about right now.
Okay. Well, if you want them to make the playoffs, they gotta win this week against the Bengals, because if the Bengals beat them and they're tied with the Bengals, that's massive. So
yeah,
I'm just saying, watch out for. And the Bengals are favorites there, Coop. So
no, I know, and I said
might
I
be the
Jake
worst
Browning.
take that I've
told
ever heard in my life.
Listen, I told you I like Jake Browning.
No, hold on. I got one question. So, in your scenario where the Colts are in, right? Are the Texans in too?
No, he's saying they're going to win y'all's division, I guess.
No, we're not.
Or
they can both get in.
The Jags.
Bro, they can usually get 3 teams in.
I think the Colts still have an opportunity to go win the division.
Are the Jags in?
I think the Jags are done. They just lie. I mean, unless he comes back.
He was
they said he was practicing this week. Yeah, that's crazy.
I
thought he broke his ankle.
I could see it where all 3 get in.
He might just be
ain't all 3 getting in.
He may be, right, Cope? He may be, huh?
He might just be a big old pussy.
No, I think, like Kate said, all 3 of them could get in. I think the Colts still have a good – I don't know, man. You can't argue with the fact that they're playing good football right now. So,
for sure.
Well, you just basically said they were winning the Super Bowl.
I didn't say that.
Now that we might beat the Bengals.
I didn't say that. I said that they're going to the playoffs.
No, I heard Super Bowl.
Bunch of teams that go to the playoffs.
Well, we got about a couple more minutes before we run out of time here on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. Kobe joined us for a nice long segment tonight.
Wait, I'm sorry. I gotta add on to that. I'm not done with that. I just gotta say one more thing, because that's just really pissed me off. Sorry, I'll go fast. Look at the Colts' last 4. They're on a 4-game streak.
Yeah, who they beat?
They beat the Panthers.
Ooh.
Who are 1-11.
Okay.
They beat the Patriots 10-6. Oh, they beat Tampa Bay. Everyone beats Tampa Bay, and they beat the Titans, and the Titans suck ass. Coop, I'm sorry. Awful take. I don't think the Colts are shit. I think they lose this
week.
The
Texans won 4 straight? When was the last time the Texans won 4 straight, Cope? And I'm a Texans fan.
So, what does that have to do with?
I'm just saying, you can't argue
no,
that.
No, hold on.
It's still the NFL, Cope.
With what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with the point I'm trying to make.
I understand they haven't played anyone, but it's still the NFL. You even said it. Do what?
You are a Texas A&M fan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Real quick.
You know what I'm talking about.
Real quick before we get it out of here. winner of the Cowboys and Eagles game, probably one of the bigger games of the weekend. Who do you got? No spread, nothing. Just straight up winner. We got a minute left. Someone go first.
Cowboys.
Hey,
Because I hope they do.
Listen, listen. I'll say one thing: the Cowboys are 6-0 at home. Can't argue with that stat.
But they haven't beat anybody good. I just this is the like I've said for a week. This is the 5-game stretch where we're gonna see if the Cowboys are legit or people like Kobe are right and they ain't shit. So we're gonna find out. And hey, let's find out.
Me, man, real quick, I'll just add, it sucks that you're in my family, Ryan, and you like Texas and the Cowboys. You're a piece of shit. But
hey,
I
was raised right. I'm sorry. What do you want me to tell you?
Well,
Cowboys. I'll take the boys. No, seriously. I love
got
y'all
the Cowboys
at home,
too.
smoking them. Watch.
All right. That is all the time we
That's
have today on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. We hope y'all enjoyed it, whether you're listening on YouTube or Spotify now, so you don't got to look at Kobe's ugly ass hat. But remember, it's not about the score, but it's about how much money you got on the game. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And what else do they got to do?
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. We'll see y'all next week on Tuesdays on the Edge. Peace.